So I'm Chyn. I'm one of the drafting committee co-chairs. Together with me is Alban, and I believe Syed will join us in a bit. So today we'll be moderating the session here, and essentially today what we're going to do is that we're going to focus on three main tracks out of the five tracks. And then, of course, at the end of the town hall session, but for about 30 minutes, we'll have an open mic where everyone can share on any track throughout the entire APrIGF. So without further ado, I am going to move into the first track. Go next slide, please. Yeah. So the first track for today's town hall session will be on innovation and emerging technologies. So I think throughout the entire APrIGF, there's about 6 to 7 sessions that chose the primary track with innovation and emerging tech. I tried to group a few key themes or questions that we might want to look into. But of course, anyone here, we welcome any kind of input or highlight or output that you've heard throughout the sessions that you think may be relevant to innovation and emerging tech. So I am going to pause here first to see if any one has any hands up already before I move into kind of reading the guiding questions. So the questions that I've listed are really just guiding questions. You can think about it, but again, it's not the only questions that you can respond to in relation to innovation and emerging tech. So I'm just going to take a small pause to see if any hands on this. None? I guess every time I take the first and then go ahead.
Yeah, Edmund here to get the ball rolling. Well, one of the things that I think would like to bring people's attention to perhaps is the youth statement that I read that went into the WIS input, but it highlights the importance of involving young people in emerging technologies, as they are also a group of early adopters, and I think it has been repeated a few times here. And hearing the debate about whether young people should have a special stakeholder group or something. I think it's beyond one of the things that is highlighted from the youth statement coming in, and I hope it will be included in this year's synthesis document, because this year especially, it seems like I've heard the concept of youth-led research that drives policy development is going to be an important part for us going forward, and especially looking at AI and some of the emerging technologies. So I think would like to add that.
Thank you, Edmund. Yeah, I think that's something definitely I paid attention to as well in terms of the discussions of whether youth should be integrated into different stakeholder groups or separate. And yeah, we're definitely hoping that more youths will start leading all sorts of conversations and be involved in any kind of policy making process that they're able to as well. Any other hands? So while we're waiting, I'll just kind of go through the broad questions that I've had here listed. And again, they're kind of in response or to the sessions that are under this primary track. So the first one is really in terms of inclusivity in digital policy making process. The sub-pointers are really the first one is why is it important for our region? I think prior to this, there were quite a few sessions in terms of inclusion. When we're talking about inclusion, uh, a lot of the voices are also talking about how APAC is a diverse region, and that's why we kind of need to ensure that the different voices are heard. But of course, I do welcome all of you to share more input on this. And then, of course, Madeline spoke to this as well, but the second sub pointer for the first question relates to youth. And I put an actual there because I know this has been quite a theme this time at APrIGF as well, where it's not like just participating maybe just as a fellow. Of course, that's a good starting point. I think it's somewhere where you start, but the actual participation and leading, like how can we actually encourage youth to do so and how can youth do so themselves as well, I think is a key theme and discussion across the APrIGF this time. And then on the second question, guiding question that I've had here, is more in relation to AI governance in the region. So are there any ways to strengthen them to safeguard risk that might come out of, increasing use of AI? And then for the third one, it's more specific because I understand that there are two specific sessions that were talking about specific technologies. So specifically open data editor, which relates to data protection and trust, and then Curve IQ, which relates to sustainability. So I've listed them here for reference. But again, anyone on the floor, if you have any other emerging technology, specific emerging technology that you'd like to share about, we welcome that as well. So again, I'm just gonna take a pause. Hopefully someone will raise their hands now. I Cheryl, yes, go ahead.
I won't leave you hanging in, Jen, don't worry. Cheryl Langdon, or part of the MSSC, sorry, the MSG. It's too many M and S's in my internet governance life. I apologise. I just wanted to respond to the inclusivity, but not perhaps from where you think I would normally do so, which is as a PWD myself, but rather from the including youth in inverted commas actual participation. I would like to suggest that just doing it is kind of the glib answer, but that we have started to definitely do this in APrIGF. And I point out the below average age of a number of our co-facilitators and co-leads on each of our very important committees and subcommittees. And I would argue that being part of the steering of the events committee, which is what we had one of our youth representatives doing, is showing everyone else, if you want to do it, and here's how. So I think that lead by example is a big thing, but we've just got to encourage a few more to get through and do it. And thank you, Pia. I thoroughly enjoyed working with you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, I did see quite a few of the youths that were joining. Quite a few of the fellowship or the capacity building programs in the past couple years are actually taking up like session chairs, moderators, and session organizer roles as well. So I think that's great. And also to the newcomers or to the youths, we're all very friendly here. So if you need any guidance or like if you have any questions, we're always welcome. Or even if you have like any feedback to us, like we're very welcome to hear back from you as well. So hopefully we can, further propagate this and get more and more youths to be involved as well and lead. And Amrita has a note, a vice chair Shawat was a fellow once. Hopefully we'll have more in the future taking up leadership roles. All right. And does anyone else have any hand on this? I think next time I might just get my co-chairs to do the first track. It's unfair because every time it's like everyone is warming up and I'm like, go on, people. But I do want to encourage, I think yesterday we had a very good participation from quite a few fellows actually. But of course, even if you're not a fellow, or if you're past year fellows, we do encourage you to share your views and inputs as well. Again, of course, this track currently is on innovation and emerging technology, but if you have a burning comment to make about any other track, we welcome that as well. But again, that's going to be an open mic later. And Amrita, go ahead.
And Chyn, I'm just trying to warm up the room. We should not be speaking. We should allow others to speak. So I think in terms of youth participation early morning today, when we had the WSIS plus 20 stakeholder discussion, also quite a few youth from our region did speak up. We did have Jenna speaking, Fio speaking, Jasmine speaking, and have I missed anyone else? Yes, these were the few fellows who I recall spoke about youth engagement. I think there was also a discussion on artificial intelligence and other technologies. So it did find mention. And if we are talking about AI governance or why we should, why we need it, etc., it's because technology has, any kind of technology can become a great differentiator if you do not have access to it. So this region, which is very diverse, needs to actually be able to, especially the LDCs or even developing countries, need to APrIGF need these technologies. If we talk about the AI governance regulations, there were quite a few sessions. I think we have patchy governance regulations, but it also depends upon what the countries wants to imbibe. But most of Asia wants to balance innovation with regulations at this point of time. So there was a lot of discussions on the multilingual internet, whether it feeds into the AI systems, etc. So there was a lot of discussion on those. I don't want to talk much, but hopefully we'll have more people speaking now.
Thank you, Amrita. So just writing on what you're saying, in terms of AI governance/regulations, maybe I can invite some in the audience to just share. It doesn't need to be from any session per se, from the APrIGF, but if you want to share like locally at your economy, any kind of AI governance or regulation that you thought was interesting or that you want to highlight here, maybe that can be something to be shared by the audience as well. So just pausing again to see if there's any hands. No? Minso, yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Tom, for the recognition. But sadly, I want to talk about youth rather than the question that you're so sorry. Before moving on to the AI governance itself, one more point that I would like to raise about the youth is that youth has various age groups. So it would be important to include all those age groups in the youth participation. Like for example, in the APrIGF 2025, which I have attended, it is more of graduate students and undergraduate students. But in this forum itself, APrIGF itself, I can see more various age groups is coming on with the youth, like the adolescents itself, or the high schoolers or middle schoolers, or somewhere between them. So probably when we stress about the youth participation itself, what we should really consider is that various kinds of participation that all of those age group can engage and then to get educated. Thank you for this time.
Thank you, Minso. Fully agree with that. Or maybe even to add on, maybe there are certain topics that are more specific to certain type of narrower age group for youth. So maybe sometimes we do need to think about that as well. But definitely agree with, scoping some things that apply to all age group as well. So really kind of depends on the topic and specificity of what we're discussing about. And Amrita, go ahead.
Sorry, Chyn. I just wanted to raise in one of the discussions yesterday. Yesterday, it was also raised that while youth are important and their needs need to be recognized, I was in that session. It is also important to recognize the other groups which may not be well represented. It could be elderly people, people with disabilities, different gender groups, because gender, people try to box it into men and women, but there are others also which needs to be looked at. So these are also things that should be considered, that these should be cross-cutting. Inclusion should be cross-cutting rather than having particular segments. And even the definition of youth is very varying. What happens to preteens, what happens to post-teens, etc. So definition of youth is also not uniform everywhere. So those are things which were raised in one of the sessions.
Thank you, Amrita. I am seeing some comments in the chat, but no hands. Just a quick check if the two commenters wanted to speak. If not, I'll go to Cheryl first, and then if the commenters want to speak, please raise your hands. Cheryl, go ahead.
I just can't help myself. It's the risk assessor coming out in me. I just need to remind people that if you're running a youth camp, that's one thing. If you're running a broadly based, large numbered, very, very general audience, especially when there are no barriers to anyone entering space, you have to consider your liabilities as you take your ages younger. Now, I'm not saying that that's an insurmountable problem, nor that it can't be worked out, but you do have to manage it in entirely different ways, because otherwise you are opening up the very youngest and perhaps more easily misled grouping to more, not less concerning activities and behaviours, because believe me, you'll become a hunting ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl, for the reminder. All right. We're actually up for the 15 minutes. And so if anyone has, as your ideas brew later on during the open mic, we do welcome you to share back on innovation and emerging tech as well. But now I'll actually hand it to my co-moderator, Alban, for the next track. Alban, over to you.
Thank you, Yien. All right. So we are going to talk about security and trust as our next topic. Well, these are just questions that I prepared to facilitate the discussion. But if you have any other comment related to security and trust, please feel free to do so as well. Now, I suppose people would need a little bit of time to warm up and think about the question. So instead of reading out all the questions, let me just do a quick feedback myself. I joined one of the sessions to talk about the digital-centric digital right framework. Turns out to be quite interesting. It is a new framework developed by the IO Foundation to guide us when we start thinking about digital rights. Can we use data? I think it's not digital-centric, it's data-centric instead. Data as the representation to to think about all the digital right policy. So I think that's a quite innovative way to do that. So feel free to give your comment if you happens to join that particular session as well. Yeah, so let me see if there's anyone else who want to comment on anything related to security and trust. Right, I can see more comments to the innovation and emerging technology part keep coming in. So there probably some time delay for people to type the comments. Now, anyone who wants to, who are comfortable of coming to the mic, please do so as well. Save you some time to type. All right, MJ.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't like pin drop silence, so I just raised my hand. I wanted to share something from Bhutan. Yet again, I've been championing my country like anything. Please do pardon. So I wanted to talk about security and trust in era of digital rights, because in Bhutan, I don't know if you all know, we have something called NDI, National Digital Identity. It's a self-sovereign data that we connect to all the systems across the country. So we have the power in our hand whether to allow or not. Regarding that, I wanted to share something. So when you talk about security and trust, we often think of firewall and password, but in today's world, it's actually about people's digital rights. So as I was mentioning, the self-sovereign national digital identity, it's a government platform that we have. And in a world where data is the new oil, NDI shows that small nations can lead big conversations, providing that trust and technology can coexist when building on transparency, consent, and accountability. But security isn't just about keeping systems safe, right? I'm sure everyone here will agree. It's about keeping citizens confident that their digital lives belong to them, not to perform they use. For me, the future of security is not control, it's trust through empowerment, like our king and our government, they are championing in Bhutan. So we are a small nation landlocked between India and China. No one knows us much, but we are trying to put that digital footprint in the world. So I don't know, small, and we are trying to set some example, because real digital sovereignty doesn't come from strong password, as I was mentioning. It comes from strong principles. I hope I made some sense. I just tried to talk a bit about what we have here in Bhutan.
Thank you, MJ. Yeah, just to respond to what you just say, I think when I look through the different sessions in the security and trust, roughly we can divide this session into two separate category. One seems to more focus on DPI from an infrastructure perspective. The other three are more related to human interaction. Talking about online platforms, platform liability, AI, and things like that. I think that's quite an interesting observation from you as well, because when we think about security, especially cybersecurity, system and infrastructure is typically the focus, but how do we integrate this into the whole idea of trust? When we talk about trust, then the human level needs to be highlighted as well. So that even the DCDR session actually talked a lot about how to bridge this to through a more technological protocol approach. Yeah, so I wonder whether there's anyone else who want to comment on this. Maybe I can direct this into maybe even the online platform side. I believe one of the sessions talked quite specifically about platform liability in building and maintaining that trust. I believe that I didn't join the actual session, but I believe that session talked about the platforms needs to be responsible for maintaining that trust. So anyone wants to chime in on this particular part? I suppose not. So I wonder how we're doing with time. Probably I'll just pass the time to the next session if there's no other comment. And if maybe in the open mic session we can have a little bit more time for if people want to contribute on security and trust. All right, thank you. I'll pass the time to Syed.
Thank you, Alban. It looks like I think we are disturbing the participants here, the fellow. I think they don't like us so much. They don't want to respond, or they must be too tired. Just for the last 3 days, so many sessions, so many discussions online. But then I think this is the last town hall session, and after this, we'll be all free for the next year, and we hope to meet you in person next year. But then if you can see on the slide, you can see this is one very important thematic area of APrIGF. And then there were total 4 sessions in the last 2-3 days. And one session was also today, which was on personal liability session on resilience. So the questions are in front of you. So what do you view? What do you think? What that comes to your mind? Already you've attended sessions, and you may like to share some perspective. It's like a departing perspective going, finally leaving the APrIGF 2025. We are ending in the next 1 hour or so. If you have last minute thought on resilience, anything that comes to your mind, maybe personal resilience, how do you look at your our own digital resilience at our level, at our family ecosystem, or institutions and all. Okay, great. Anna, yes, go ahead.
Hi all. Anna McAllister here. Just reflecting on point 1 of this particular topic. I've been thinking a lot, and I continuously think while I stay up awake at night about the changing way in which users interact with the internet. We've gone from this very decentralized model of anyone can build a website and you have to type in www. to get to the domain name of a website, all the way to we're not even interacting with websites anymore. We're interacting with AI, which is then doing the search on the internet for us. And I find that really concerning, not only as someone who works in the domain name industry, but as someone who thinks that that type of interaction from the user is a core part of the decentralized internet ecosystem. So to lose that by user engagement changing so drastically, I think is something that I'm really concerned about. So I'm thinking we all stop using AI and get back into typing in URLs, and get people back into building websites to try and protect that decentralized system of the internet. Yeah, just that reflection. Thank you.
Thank you, Eda. I think this reflection that you share, perhaps in the next 5 years, going down the next 5 years, 10 years, perhaps more clarity, more reflections will come up also, because we are experiencing now, the whole world and these economies are experiencing, because there's a rush for AI now everywhere. So perhaps the repercussions, the impact, and the lessons and reflections will be coming and emerging, and that is how we will be, I think, looking back at certain other options or better ways of handling it. Thank you. Yes, Edmund, over to you.
Thank you. Edmund here, and I wanted to, well, I actually agree very much with Anna and put a thumbs up, but I wanted to maybe add two things to this area, perhaps useful for the synthesis document. The first one is really the reframing of cybersecurity, and in the terms of resilience. I was thinking of whether to speak in the last Alban session or here, and but I think there is a general direction to really reframe what we call cybersecurity into with much more emphasis on resilience, because no cybersecurity can be 100%. It is much more about the ability to get back up and running as quick as possible, and with less damage as possible. So reframing of cybersecurity discussions and the narrative into resilience is something that I guess I'm seeing. In fact, I saw that in the earlier global IGF discussions in Norway this year, as well as to talk about the ability to get systems back up and running, and also to withstand attacks to a certain degree, like even with a lower service capability, but still maintaining uptime under attack, and that's really resilience rather than the traditional cybersecurity approach. That's one side of things. The other one that I want to highlight in terms of resilience is I see on point 1 here the mention about digital sovereignty. And in fact, in my opening remarks, I mentioned one thing which I think is increasingly important. As countries look into national digital sovereignty, and one good example is actually in Nepal, an overemphasis on the national side of things, it could cause a backlash. And one of the things that might be important to think about national digital sovereignty is to protect and safeguard personal digital sovereignty, because when laws are actually protecting users' own personal digital sovereignty, basically their control and ownership of their own data, then the government will be able to enforce issues without having a data centralization or data nationalization or localized data, right? Because that actually, in my mind, goes against the global nature of the internet and the ability to have redundancy across borders, right? Because and I think, by safeguarding, by actually starting with personal digital sovereignty, we could better address national digital sovereignty issues by, not necessarily localizing data, but actually giving the users their control and ownership over their own data through protection by legislations and so on. So those are two additions that I hope we can think about in the synthesis document.
Thank you, Edmund. I think very critical perspective, and I think it deserves a lot of attention on these points, especially the last point that you mentioned, the personal digital sovereignty versus the national digital sovereignty. I think well taken. So any hands? Yeah, please. Any hands? We are just a few minutes away for our last closings. I think we'll be having closing soon. Well, then we'll all be having our own digital sovereignty after the sessions are over. Yeah, Aris, over to you.
Hi, Syed, and good afternoon to all. I just wanted to just share with you our sentiment in the Philippines, and I feel this is a general sentiment, no? And I think this goes beyond also our theme, no? But I'll stick to resiliency, no? The concept of resiliency in the Philippines has been related to how we Filipinos, no, try to get over disasters, no, over a period of time, no. But it also came to a point that the concept of resiliency has been abused, especially by certain sectors, no, in the Philippines, no. And how is this abused? We got to realize, no, that the concept of resiliency as a propaganda by sectors, no, is in effect a failure in governance, no. No, so can I just cite one point, no? Whenever you see pictures of Filipinos over disasters and flooding, no, they normally see Filipinos smiling, no, even if we are already neck deep in waters, no, in flooded waters, no. See Filipinos, no, roaming around, laughing at it, having jokes, no, over incidents, no. And we came to realize it's being used against us simply because the funds that are supposed to prevent flooding and disasters, well, man-made at that, no, is corrupted, no, is involved in corruption, no. And I want to go back and I want to anchor this maybe also on how we go about dealing with resiliency as far as our concepts in in the internet discussions in digital arena is concerned. I think we have to be very careful on how we basically look at the dealings with this, no, simply because there might be other messages being sent to us or which is being channeled around, and we're not able to discern properly if indeed the issues that are upon us are as they are are to be taken, no, with a grain of salt, or is there a deeper issue behind all of these, no. That's basically my small contribution from experience. Thank you, Syed.
Thank you, Aris, for sharing that. I think you broadly touched upon the disaster resiliency part, especially in your country and our other Southeast Asian economies and other economies as well. Oh, well noted. Thank you. And anybody else? Any comment? The last comment anybody want to have? You want to raise your hand, say something? I think I can see a lot of comments and inputs, which are very brilliant, and we will certainly analyze those when we finalize this synthesis document. Yes, Rishabh, and yes, Ivashna. I think quick items quickly. We have three hands. Quickly,
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone, this is Ivashna. So, when we talk about resilience, I just wanted to share that, we talk about strong servers and systems, but I think it's also about strong communities. We've seen how, quickly misinformation and technical disruptions can spread during crisis, right? So that's when digital literacy and community awareness are just as important as technical infrastructure, because resilience begins when people know how to respond, when one can think critically, verify information and stay connected even in uncertainty. So resilience to me means like just bouncing back, but also like building forward together and being informed. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Very important point. You highlighted the community resilience part. Thank you so much for highlighting. Bishop, I think you have your hand up quickly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And for everyone, my name is Rishabh and I'm the APrIGF fellow. So on resilience, I just want to points. So all of my fellows and all of the co-participants, they've explained it beautifully. I just wanted to say that resilience, first of all, it should not be treated as a reactionary measure, but more like a design principle. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, if we invest in the distributed infrastructure, for example, we establish regional data centers. You know, we have so many companies like Lightstorm in India, if I talk about, and then Nixie is there, the National Internet Exchange of India. So all of them are working on these regional data centers and community networks, which can mesh connectivity and satellite internet so that no single point of failure can sort of disrupt the access. So I think decentralization, as mentioned in one of the questions, it also ensures continuity. And also digital sovereignty is not about isolation, but empowerment. So the ability of nations and communities to manage their own digital ecosystems without compromising on openness or interoperability is what actually leads to digital sovereignty. And we have so many steps. If I talk about my country, India, we've got so many cloud providers, which are native cloud providers, and they focus on only the local cloud infrastructure and the open source technologies. So that is the major part which I wanted to highlight. So
Thank you. I think very brilliantly put. I think very, I think well point that you mentioned. So now I think that this is an open mic session. So anybody can comment on anything, any point, any thematic sessions that we just showed you up on security and trust, resilience, or innovation, emerging tech. Anything that comes to your mind, please come up and share. Any last, this is your last, I think, a lifeline, kind of. We are winding up. So, yes, Yongfin, yes, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay. Okay, I'm one of APrIGF fellow from Taiwan, and I would like to respond to the section on emergency technologies, especially in AI. We can see that more and more people are relying on social media for news and information. However, we also aware that the internet is filled with misinformation, disinformation, and even AI-generated content from articles. So what I would like to share here is a new perspective. I think AI algorithm can also actually be trained and used to protect the public interest. As far as I know, some European countries once considered developing a cross-national AI algorithm to classify and rank different news. The AI would prioritize and recommend news with strong public interest value. I'm sharing this because I think AI is really a double-edged sword. While it could be used to spread misinformation, I think it can also be harnessed to promote quality journalism and help more people access trustworthy news. This is what I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you for that brilliant input. Well noted. Any hands? This is open mic. Anything that comes to your mind across any of these themes that you have in front of you? Yes, MJ, go ahead.
Well, hi, MJ again from Bhutan. It's not on anything that's on the slide, but actually why I am here. So I have been repeating this throughout all the breakout rooms and everywhere. So I just wanted to put it here since it's open mic, right? I can talk about anything. Why I am here from Bhutan is, first of all, I'm not a youth, so I have already passed that age. So in Bhutan, we are not yet in IGF. So we want to be part of IGF somehow. So again, I go back to 2022 in Singapore, where APrIGF was being co-held with APNIC 52. So that is when I learned about this. I really want to start this at Bhutan, and we are somewhere, we are stuck somewhere. So we really need help from all the experts out here. We have seen everyone from Amrita to Shril to Kazi, everyone. You all have been talking and all, but what we really need right now is to go ahead. Yes, we know multi-stakeholders group, all that we know. We have the toolkit as well from igf.org. We have everything, but somehow it's not working out. And my main question here is, now I am giving a counter question: who should lead IGF? Yes, MSG. Yes, I understand MSG, but there are few people like me who are interested to start it off here in Bhutan. Now I see there's also option to have a local hub. When one can't come online like we are right now, you can still come everyone in one room, hybrid kind of thing, local hub and all. So yes, this is where I'm coming from, and I'm repeating this because we really want to start off IGF here in Bhutan, and we are stuck somewhere. So yeah, that was my open mic. We can take this offline, but please do help me out to start off.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj, for raising a very important point. I think as of now, immediately a response, unless our secretariat, the chair, co-chairs, and others wants to share. But I think that can be taken up separately, and of course, certainly, APrIGF secretariat can also be a guiding factor going forward. So that's my comment on your point. I think I will hand over to Chyn to take the other inputs that are coming up. Chyn, over to you.
Yeah, so just to add as well, I guess if anyone in the audience are organizers for any other local economies, IGF or Youth IGF, maybe you want to speak up to share your experience as well, as MJ has asked the questions. And also just a note, I see a pretty long line, but also a note to all the audience, this town hall is an open mic for you to also ask questions. So thanks, MJ, for starting that. It's not just to share your views, but if you have any kind of questions, please raise it here as well. All right, I'll go to the next person in the line. Anna, go ahead.
Hi, Anna again. Just very quickly, I wanted to reflect. Well, I had the opportunity on the kind of cybersecurity discussions that are happening. I recently was having a discussion with a local cybersecurity communicator, educator, who reminded me of a very important way of thinking about cybersecurity as an issue. That we, as people in the sector, I'm sure we all understand that cybersecurity is a systemic issue with systemic solutions that need to occur, which can feel, very overwhelming and far too vast for any single person to try and approach. But I was reminded recently that as someone who understands a little bit about technology, it is all of our responsibility as individuals to support our communities in their cybersecurity efforts, whether that be small things or big things. I think it's really important that we all remember to take everything we know home and try and support our communities to be safer online. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Jumping in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Alban.
Oh, I think she finished her point. Just wanted to see if you're still here.
Oh, as in Jenny? Okay, it's okay. I'll go to Alban first. Alban, go ahead. Am I audible? Because I think like the next
Yes, you
people in the
are.
queue are like, oh, okay. So I'm actually seeing in queue Jenny, and then Evan, and then Winston,
Hi.
and then Subhashini and Shamima. Yes, Jenny. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Thank you, Chyn. So I'm Jenny from Sri Lanka. I just wanted to share a quick reflection from the sessions over the past days. I've noticed that many of our discussions, from AI governance to digital inclusion, all come back to one key idea: meaningful participation. So especially in the Asia Pacific, we often have great frameworks, but not enough channels for youth, academics, and local communities to actually shape the outcomes. So I think moving forward, we should focus not only on creating policies, but also on making sure people understand and can influence those policies in practice. So that's my comment. Thank you.
I'll move on to the next in line, Evan.
Sure. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear you the first time. This is Nair Dodu speaking on behalf of .Asia organization. I just wanted to touch upon a topic that speaks to sustainability, but also the resilience and innovation and emerging technology. And that is the Eco Internet Index, EII. It's an initiative developed by .Asia and APNIC, and it compares climate and internet infrastructure data across APAC. It supports inclusive policy activism and research on the internet's environmental impact. And this collaboration with APNIC, which is now preparing to study the period of 2025 to 2027, will expand the EII's reach, ideally boosting renewable energy studies, developing case studies showing measurable techno-policy impact across more APAC jurisdictions. And significant because following the largest drop in global carbon emissions in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, emissions have now rebounded as levels ever recorded in 2025. So with the nonstop growth and utilization of the internet, it's crucial to work collaboratively towards a sustainable eco-internet. So we hope in this iteration too, we'll be continuing to combine rigorous data analysis with stakeholder collaboration. And we're aiming to, quote, do more and waste less by advocating for a greener, more energy efficient internet infrastructure across APAC. So thank you all. Just wanted to kind of promote this and hopefully we can get all of you to be involved with this too. Thanks.
I'm going to rotate it back to Alban to take it from here. Alban, go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to call the next person, Winston.
Thank you, Alban. Listening to the conversations or the discussion in this session, particularly about resilience and access and inclusion, it's occurred to me that most of the people in the session have excellent ideas. They all seem to agree that on the points that need to be raised, which are all on the slides, very good questions, but most of the points are, in fact, questions. What we need are answers, and we need to move somehow, or rather the community needs to move somehow from posing questions to actually getting at the answers implemented or getting actions undertaken. And who's going to undertake the actions? It seems to me that focusing on resilience, for example, in the case of natural disasters, every country has got its own ministries of works, its own ministry of transport, its own civil defense organizations. The people in this community have got the answers, or in theory, for connectivity. How can we move from asking questions to actually communicating with government agencies and other agencies as well, not only government, to communicate with them to explain the need for building action into their programs, because we are talking about the need for action. How do we move to actually getting that action to start? And maybe the synthesis document could end. We could write some words at the end of the synthesis document to make a call for action in all the countries who are represented in this forum. Thanks.
Thank you, Winston. That's a great intervention. I would like to quickly add to that. When I talk to some of the cybersecurity companies in the region, when we talk about cybersecurity as a systemic problem that require a systemic solution, internationally is part of that system. But they're not joining this kind of conversation at the moment. So hopefully in the synthesis document we highlight this, and also in future APrIGF we can also find people and involve people who are actually able to work out the solution together with us, to be here as well. So thank you. Let me move to the next speaker, Sufasini.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'm Subhasini Shrestha, APrIGF Fellow from Nepal. I would like to add on to Winston. I agree to him for 100% because we only talk in the platform that we need this and that, but the implementation part is always lacking. I have been a part of IGF since APIGA and INSIG and now APrIGF, but the access and inclusion part is always on the discussion, but the actual implementation has not been implemented. I belong to the tech community as well as PWD, so I want to see PWD in this kind of platform to bridge the gap between digital accessibility and digital literacy. So the voices of PWDs also matter. So I would like to suggest that further programs should include PWDs as well. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Yeah, Cheryl comment also that PWD is here, but we have not called out as much, so that might be something that we can take note. Thank you. May I call for the next speaker, Shamin Ma? You're on mute.
Ms. Shamima, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Oh, so sorry. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
You are now.
Yes. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Yes, I'm Shamima Akhtar, Chairperson of Bangladesh Women Internet Governance Forum. And besides, I'm the mentor of the APrIGF 25 Fellowship Program. So I am sharing my statement about WSIS plus 20 review. Yes, this is my statement. The WSIS plus 20 review is a critical opportunity to reaffirm our collective commitment to building an inclusive, rights-based, and people-centered information society. Yes, it must strengthen the multi-stakeholder model, bridging digital divides, and align digital cooperation with the Sustainable Development Goals that calls SDG and the global digital impact. Thanks for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll pass the time back to my co-chair, Syed, to continue.
Well, it looks like we don't want to go home. I mean, go out. Great. Ashutosh, over to you. Thank you, Alban. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Ashutosh. I'm an APrIGF fellow from Fiji. I just wanted to touch on two things, that is access and inclusion and sustainability. What I think most of the Pacific Island nations are facing is the issue of access and inclusion. We're trying to connect as many people as possible, but I think we are getting there, slowly getting there, particularly in Fiji. And I think it's mostly due to the partners that we have, the donor partners. So coming on to sustainability, as my colleagues have already said, I mean, sometimes we have things that is not implemented, but once some things are implemented, but these things are not sustained. So once the project is finished, then these things are not continued. So the project is for 2 years. After that, there's nobody there to look for or look after those things. I mean, this is something, I think there's lots of projects and lots of initiatives like this in the Pacific Island nations that has happened. And this is something that I think we need to work on to have this continued and so that we maintain that access and inclusion and include more people and give internet access to greater people. Thank you.
Thank you for raising that. Is a project-based methodology of implementation and the sustainability challenge. I think very, very important point. Shukros, thank you for sharing. Yes, Rafi, over to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Rafi from Pakistan, especially from northern Pakistan. I wanted to share a bit about the state of internet in northern regions. The northern regions, I mean the Himalaya, Karakoram and the Hindu Kush region. These regions, they are diverse in culture, diverse culturally, linguistically, and they have their own like cultural knowledge systems. But when we talk about these different things related to access, inclusion, innovation, emerging technologies, security, and trust, we can find all of this lacking in these areas. And when I see look at the nature of internet, then I think that we should not separate these things and talk specifically separately about these things when we discuss these regions, because these regions lack all of those things. But instead, we should discuss about the sustainable development of these regions. Because as mentioned, for example, in the second session, I think it was on building connection, fostering digital literacy and accessibility for all ages. The speaker, Krishna, I think he mentioned the ways how we can include these different linguistic communities in the broader IG framework, or they may have a voice in the digital space. He talked about building data sets and LLM models and machine translation tools. And when we are accessing websites, for example, if I'm a person, I'm an illiterate person of northern regions, especially of these regions, and I wanted to have some emergency health advice from someone, or I want to connect to the internet. How can I connect to the internet? I don't even know how to write or how to type the URL or such thing. So in this case, voice recognition systems are better for these people. But voice recognition system, they are a long way off, because many communities, many linguistic communities, they don't have written scripts yet, and UA readiness is way behind our imagination at this moment. So this was my take, that when we talk about these communities which are facing climate disasters, access and inclusion issues, and lack of innovation and emerging technologies, and a lack of resilience, we should be focusing more on the broader social, economic, and ethical dimensions of including those peoples in this digital domain. And we should focus more broadly on the sustainability issues, sustainable development goals, or how we improve and how we achieve sustainable development goals in these regions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. 2 points. One is the Himalayan Hindu Kush, the mountain regions. This is very important. And the second point is the diversity on the internet that you highlighted, which means a lot of things. Thank you for sharing. I saw a hand, Nicola. I think Daniel, lowered your hand. Nicola, you just want to share something? Maybe that could be the last input.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, yes.
Actually, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for having this chance to
this year to participate in the mentorships program. I didn't expect that I would become a mentors of the programs. I thought I would just become a participant. And I think that I would like to express because I recently just went to the Hong Kong APrIGF from the Google office, and I think that is also touch upon these types of topics, and especially for today's presentations and during the sessions with the different mentees. And I think that's a very good chance to promote more about sustainability, and the themes talking about sustainability, and being able to share our point of view with to talk about the current state about the online safety for children and youth. And I especially like to express my sincere gratitude to my teammates too, with Zach and Yuan Ting and Tisha and myself, and all with my other mentors, and all of the peoples and all of the stakeholders there from Laos, from Taiwan, and from Bhutan. And we understand that different peoples and from different countries, they also have some facing different access and inclusions problems too, and issues that's touching a point. And definitely I think we need this more of the passions, and we need this continued contributions to promote about the sustainability in letting more of the people to know about the impacts of causing the AI ethics, how it will cause the issues to our next generations, and to the educational path, and to the especially my role is doing about social welfare and related, and that's what therefore we in the educational sectors we we're concerned about so much about the AI ethics problems and issues, and therefore I think that's very content enriching and very resourceful, and also very feeling very meaningful about in being able to participate in this virtual conference, and also to contribute one of the inputs in with my no matter to mentees or to the mentors, and also to my fellows. Yeah, that's my great honor to be part of this journey too. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah.
So 3 quick things. One is that, you have made a lot of friends now. So for the next 1 year, you'll be having a lot of chit chat and things. Second is you have a lot of issues now. You discussed, you participated, a lot of things you're taking back from this APrIGF 25. And for the next 1 year, you have to do a lot of work. And third is, of course, one day you'll be going to be a mentor yourself. So I think this is your journey. I think we look forward. Nicola is a great mentor going forward. Thank you. I think for all the fellows, this is a platform that makes us very rich and enlightening for all of us. Thank you, Nicola. I think we have, Tuluma, over to you. I can see a beautiful flower.
Thank you. Well, as an academic from Samoa, a very small island in the Pacific, I wish to highlight the urgent need for affordable and reliable connectivity across the Pacific. Digital inclusion cannot be achieved when access remains unaffordable or unstable for large segments of our population. And recently, during a dengue fever outbreak, our university had to switch suddenly to online learning. This experience revealed deep inequalities. Many students could not afford mobile data, lacked appropriate devices, faced poor internet connections that prevented them from joining online classes and accessing platforms that we use, such as Moodle. Now, these barriers directly undermine education, digital participation, and community resilience. So for small island developing states, connectivity is not merely a technical concern. It's an issue of equity and opportunity, and sustainable solutions require regional cooperation, innovating financing models, and targeted policies to ensure that connectivity is both accessible and meaningful. And I strongly advocate for continued regional dialogue and investments in affordable broadband, community digital hubs, and educational data subsidized to ensure that no student or community is left behind in this digital era. So yeah, So that's just what I wanted to share.
Thank you.
Tonight.
Two quick reflection. One is, of course, we are always concerned, in fact, always concerned and feel strongly about that the connectivity inclusion in the Pacific Islands is it's a strong subject and issue and challenge, of course. And secondly, of course, you mentioned about digital community, digital hubs. So this isn't something that I think the community's participation and stakeholders' involvement will be very, very critical going forward. Thank you for sharing your inputs. I pass on to Alban. Over to you.
Thank you, Syed. So I think we are going into the last phase of the town hall session. I'd like to see if there are any other people who would like to speak up and comment. I'll give it a couple more seconds and see if anyone else want to chime in and express themselves. Oh, we do. Maria?
Okay. Let me take this opportunity since it's one of the last two events on this last day. I would like to build on the topic of resilience, and perhaps it has something to do also with security and trust, since it's about information integrity and crisis communication. So during crises such as disasters, public health emergencies, or cyber attack incidents, governments and platforms must commit to honest, timely communication and maintain trust even under pressure. And this seems to be a big challenge, right? So in short, resilience depends on trustworthy information flows, especially during times of crisis. And perhaps I would also like to touch on innovation and emerging technologies, but I might be sharing something coming from a place of privilege since I'm now based in a developed country. So human augmentation technologies, including AR, virtual reality, extended reality, wearable robotics, such as exoskeletons, brain-computer interfaces, and neural sensors here in Japan are merging the physical and digital realms. So actually they're talking here about quantum computing, supercomputers. Of course, autonomous driving is still not that common, but of course it's starting. E-medicine, and these tools are already transforming fields from healthcare, rehabilitation, and industrial training to immersive education and remote collaboration. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Maria. Let me do the last call again. Anyone else want to give their last comment? All right. Oh, we do. Suzanne, I think this would be the last comment that we take. Suzanne, go ahead.
Highly appreciate for taking me this opportunity. And this is going to be the last day of the APrIGF, and I need to deliver my appreciation. I'm deeply honored and sincerely grateful for the opportunity to be the part of this program. And as a current master student at Almaty University, engaging both academic and practical aspects of digital policy and governance. And I'm from Afghanistan, and being representative of Afghanistan in this program is such a grace for me. Being among such distinguished minds and dedicated professionals is a true privilege. I consider my acceptance into this program not only a significant milestone in my journey, but also a grace that I do not take for granted. Thank you so much for welcoming me into this vibrant community of thoughts, leaders, change makers.
Great.
Highly appreciated.
Thank you. And I see in the comment that someone say that we should hope that we can meet in real life next time. Certainly that would be the case. Can we move to the next slide, please? So now this is the second town hall. After this, we are going to start a drafting committee working period. So what you can help at the moment is to try your best to input whatever you mention, any other thoughts that you may have into the synthesis document, working document that we have. I would emphasize it is quite important for you to do so. We certainly take notes. We certainly, the secretariat also take all the comments and have it recorded. But no one can express yourself better than yourself. So if we are taking the input from the notes, maybe we miss certain key points that you want to express. I hope to see a vibrant comment into the synthesis document as well. I want to quickly mention that the synthesis document typically will send it to the global IGF as well, and sometime it will be used in other activity and planning for the actual IGF as well. Now this year the global IGF has already passed, so we won't do that, but certainly the document will be sent over to the global IGF and make the contribution over there. So hopefully we are able to use the synthesis document as one of the representation of the Asia Pacific internet community to influence the policy and direction in the global arena. So hopefully you can contribute on the synthesis document. Now after the 13th of November, we will publish draft 1 for further public input, and then we'll work again, and then hopefully we'll be publishing the synthesis document on the 12th of December. That would be the timeline at the moment. So please do add your comment, as I mentioned. So where do you do that? If we move to the next slide, it is over here at the URL comment.aprigf.asia. It's very easy to remember. Please do save that particular link and input your comment and your contribution over there. So before I close the session, I would like to take another photo of the town hall again.
All right, smile everyone. 1, 2, 3. First page smile. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. All right, with that, we will be closing the session. Thank you very much for joining.